Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Squared Slice. It's been a while, but we're back.
We
I'm the
are.
Friendly Neighborhood Limitless Soda today, joined by Dustin the Dumpster Josie. How have you been, my man?
I'm wonderful. I almost went with a Limitless name too. I thought about it, but I'm like, maybe it's too on the nose.
and then I took it.
Then
So
you
I
went
don't
for it. Well, the thing is I already had Dumpster going, and I'm like, I'm pretty proud that I thought of that. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'll go with it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm doing well. As Soda saw before we came on, I have a new child, so she's 6 weeks old. So that good time for a break for this show.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why we took 2 months off like we did. But we're back. We're going to be better than ever. We're going to have different format to the show. Do you want to talk about that right now before we hop into it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I know
Okay.
Soda and I have been just chit-chatting about kind of how we could make the show a little more fun. So hopefully going forward, once we finalize some stuff, is that we're going to try to theme each week. So like 4 weeks a month. Each week will have a certain theme each one. And I think so to help me remind myself, but one will be
once a
current.
month we're going to do a monthly recap.
Yeah, which is what we're going to do today since we've
Yep.
been off for 2 months.
And there was a big AEW Dynamite show today, so we can spend most of the time talking about that.
Right.
We will be talking. Well, obviously, finally, we'll be doing the name of the show. We'll be reviewing movies with wrestlers in them.
We're finally doing it, Soda.
Yeah.
After talking about it for
We've been
so
doing this
long.
for how long?
And we're gonna finally talk about wrestlers in movies. We're getting there. And then we'll do an old school episode every week, a themed one.
Yep.
And then even though we just talked about it, it's a mystery
to us and you apparently.
And we're getting there. We're getting there. We got our shit tied together.
It's just gonna be weird having people in the audience here.
We like it.
So okay, Luke, this I don't know if you're asking this rhetorically or not, but this is the Northern Entertainment Group's wrestling show. Yes. Brennan, how are you guys doing? So yeah, let's hop into it. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before that was the Royal Rumble, and I know everybody's probably sick and tired of hearing about it. I know I've said my piece, but Dustin hasn't said his piece.
Weren't you on that? You were on the show, weren't you? Talking of were you?
Yeah, I also co-host the Dropkicks over on the Let's Get Ready Network, which is that one. It just focuses on the week in wrestling. Yeah, you're not wrong, Luke. We do have a lot of shows.
I know it's hard. It's hard. Even I try to keep up with what's going on over here, and I can't do it. That's why
we did a Royal Rumble special recap of that because my co-host Dagan, he needed to vent.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I didn't. I wanted to because I had to simmer on the Royal Rumble for a little while.
Same.
Like I really me and you chatted during it, and I had the same thoughts. Like I kind of came out of it indifferent, and I was like, was it that bad though? Like maybe am I living in the moment? Am I just like did it? Because again, you and I had this discussion. Was we went into the Rumble thinking like this is super fun because for the first time in a rarity of WWE, where it felt like a lot of things were up in the air.
Exactly, because there's so many storylines going into it.
Right. It felt like Seth could beat Roman.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like Bobby could beat Brock. Mm-hmm. And it started to feel like it a little bit more as the weeks went on.
And not just that, you had is Dominic going to finally turn on Ray?
Yes.
And stuff like that. And
you had the women's Rumble, and then like the guys Rumble, like, was AJ going to win? Was Seth going to come in? Was Roman or Brock going to be in it?
Right. And
so, there was all these things going in. And I was really a little upset because everything that we expected to happen happened.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that moment. Like we expected Roman to win. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you're a smart fan. We kind of expected Bobby to win.
Yeah, although there was a part of me that wanted both of them to lose because I feel like they don't need the title, but
so did I. I was like, if they can put Seth over right now, that's going to be great because that means Brock's going to lose,
right?
And they don't need titles to headline WrestleMania.
No,
they have a storyline.
They have a great storyline.
So, and I'm not going to fight the Ronda thing.
Me neither.
I like Ronda. I think she's just fine winner. And actually, at the end of the pay-per-view, I enjoyed the Women's Royal Rumble actually quite a bit.
That seems to be the overall consensus when you look at both Rumble matches, is that the women's was the better.
It was the better. And so going into the men's, that might, I don't want to be that person that jumps, but I don't know what you said, Soda, but it might have been one of the worst Royal Rumbles I've ever seen.
It was. It was very much a letdown because maybe it's because we were spoiled because last year we had Christian return. The year before that we had Edge return. We did have some fun cameos. Here we already, what ended up happening was the celebrities that were announced, that was it. That was all we got.
Yeah, and Shane.
Surprises, Bad Bunny. You know what? The guy's considered one of the boys. He can hold his own in there. That's a fun one. Like
I like him.
Me too.
I like him, but at the end of the day, he's not whatever.
No, but it's just one of those. He earned it.
I like Bad Bunny. I think he's fun.
Me too.
Bad Bunny's fun.
And then you also got Shane McMahon. Let's not talk about that one.
Yeah.
And Johnny Knoxville, and that was it.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the sad part about this Rumble is, I think the Knoxville part was like the most entertaining part of the entire thing.
Agreed.
Like they did it totally right.
Yeah.
And it was fun and it was funny and it didn't feel celebrity out of place.
Exactly.
Totally worked. And after that, it was just.
Yeah, after that, it was.
The insane thing, this is how you know it is booked really weird. And you actually brought it up at the start of this. They literally built Rey Mysterio and Dominic.
Yeah.
And they weren't even in the ring together.
No, Dominic lasted 3 minutes and 44 seconds, came in at number 14. Ray came in at 23, way after his son was eliminated.
So they built 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Of Ray eliminated.
Strong weeks with slow build before that.
What the flying hell is happening with that? Like, these are things that about that Rumble I couldn't understand. I'm glad we're talking about it. Even though it's a week and a half later, it still matters so much to Mania. And then, like, the other thing I couldn't believe is when I sent this to a buddy of mine after I was thinking about it. When they eliminated AJ Styles, who was the front runner to win, right. People are so in love with AJ. Do you know who was? I'm going to try to remember, but you know the ring when AJ got eliminated, it was Sheamus, Madcap Moss, Dolph Ziggler. I don't know, like 5 people who were so at the bottom of them. Yeah. They were left in the ring. And my first thought was, I'm like, why would AJ go out there when now you leave the ring with 5 people that have 0% chance of winning?
Well, they probably had no idea what was going on because if with everything that's come out, it sounds like nobody knew what was going on because they kept getting rewritten. Nobody knew their entrance orders. Nobody, like my favorite story, because Shane McMahon, the way it's coming, it sounds like he was the biggest problem, and he was trying to get himself to number 29. But when his, I don't know if you heard this, but when his music hit at 28, he's like, I didn't want to go out there. And Randy Orton, who came out at 28, says, I'm not going out to your music. Get out there.
That's funny. Well, and that was the big thing, right? Didn't they? It's pretty well, I think, reported now that Shane was. There's a reason why all of his storylines just got dropped.
Pretty much
is apparently Shane O'Mac. Well, didn't you read the one where he was like talking about how he? Well, I think all of them have reported it now, so I find it pretty factual.
Yeah,
that he was like booking himself to be in the end with Brock.
Yeah, he wanted to come out at number 1 at one point. That's why Brock's the one eliminated him. Even that took 2 clotheslines.
My God, if he came out at number 1,
he outfought Matt Riddle, MMA fighter. And it's like,
I know.
See, for me, it wouldn't have. This is my thing. I do enjoy Shane McMahon when he comes and he does his shit. This wouldn't have been so bad if it was just a one and done because he'd actually never been in a Royal Rumble before, and that was just to give him the.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If it was just to say to add it to his resume, you have competed in a Royal Rumble, would have been fine. But then you hear, oh, there's plans, and he was, going
to Saudi. Oh my God.
Bye.
Agreed. Yeah, I you know what? If I'm not going to lie to you, and I said this to you when me and you were messaging, if it took this to get Shane maybe to just go away forever.
Oh, I don't think it'll be gone forever.
Oh, come on, Soda. I can't anymore. I'm done with it. I'm done with Shane.
On camera? Yeah, but I think maybe
on camera.
Come back a little bit behind the scenes stuff.
That's fine. But yeah, so like really long story short, I agree with you, man. It is shocking how poorly done that Rumble was.
Right. And as soon as you saw the results of the title matches, you knew it was going to happen. You knew.
But again, why couldn't they? And you, I'm sure, have talked about this. I am okay with Brock being number 30 and winning. I get it. Why couldn't they have one part of the show where they show Brock backstage, I don't know, in Gorilla with Bruce Pritchard by the neck, saying, "I got screwed, put me in the Rumble."
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Who was supposed to be number 30?
Right.
It worked better when Becky did it in 20. Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah.
It worked when she did it because somebody else came out and she beat the crap out of Lana.
Why couldn't they have done anything? Anything.
Yeah.
Instead of just sending him. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, that's WWE's MO lately. No sense.
That's the thing is I went into Royal Rumble again. Me and you were actually higher on WWE in the last few weeks than we have been. Like leading up to it, I was like, I can't believe how excited I am. Like
me too. And normally this is when they actually give a damn when it comes to their stories is between Rumble and Mania. So you're like, hey, we're gonna get some good WWE.
Well, and this happened too when we were off. Was day one.
Yeah.
And the big craziness, the fact that Roman had COVID like the day of, and WWE had to go, what the hell are we going to do?
Then they sacrificed Big E, gave Brock the title, and now Big E's singles push is done. And you're like,
done.
What?
And again, I get it, but you couldn't have. It's very weird. I don't know. The booking that's interesting. Like now they're talking about going back to the title, and again, we'll find out once Elimination Chamber. We could segue into that. Comes up of now they're talking Brock might get the belt back.
And see, that would be interesting. Unification match at Rumble.
I'm okay with it.
Me too.
But why then did they need to put it on Lashley for 3 weeks?
And if they're going to do that, why did they have Brock win the Rumble?
Exactly. That's why I'm still a little wary if they're actually going to do it or not. I mean, they could use the chamber for a lot of things. It's an easy way. Saudi Arabia, they're paying money to get Brock there. They want Brock there.
And that's why Goldberg too.
Of course. They love the big stars. That's what they love. That's why they pay the money. So to me, it could be, if it was not in Saudi Arabia, I'd go, Brock's winning. He's getting the belt. But because it's there, they just need Brock on the show.
Yeah.
And or else they will not be happy.
I'm gonna hold my judgment on that pay-per-view in terms of what I think of it, because the last Saudi show actually was was better than Mania.
Exactly.
It was better than Mania, which I never thought I'd say about a Saudi show.
Last Saudi show was great, and this one already looking good. Yeah. This chamber match.
Well, here are let's transition into Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
So this is the card so far. So the Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's title: Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus Doudrop versus Nikki Ash versus a 6-person to be determined. Sorry, this is for the number 1 contendership to fight WrestleMania. Why couldn't it be Ronda versus Becky? Whatever. And then singles match: Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss, because they were in a storyline that is who put Drew out. Roman Reigns versus Goldberg, because of course.
Hey, you know what? And also, this is supposed to be Goldberg's last match.
Yeah,
it's the last one on his contract. Saudi Arabia, Roman Goldberg, fine with it.
And you know what? I think maybe after all this time, I think Roman can get a good match, like a decent match out of Goldberg.
He only needs to go like 6 minutes.
Yeah, and if you let Heyman in on the creation of the match,
right? I think Goldberg, and also we know Goldberg. He's a prideful guy.
Of course,
he wants his last match that anybody ever sees him to be good.
Yeah.
Who else are you going to put him with than Roman?
Because his match with Lashley at the last one was pretty good.
Was okay.
His other matches in the Saudi shows weren't the best.
Yeah, well, exactly. And Brock and Goldberg knows that. Like, he's not dumb.
That's why they gave him Dolph that one year, which ended up being a great match.
Yeah, that was fun. And yeah, I don't know. That should be fun.
And then for the SmackDown tag team titles, because apparently the Raw ones aren't important, you have the Usos versus the Viking Raiders, which should be fun because those are 2 big beefy men with 2 guys who can fly and sell.
Yep. Yeah, I like the Raiders. They're fun.
This is actually a dream match. I never thought I'd see Becky Lynch versus Lita.
I know. Well, it's and the Lita build has been really good.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm at. Now I'm just spitballing, Soda. Follow me here.
Okay.
So I'm a little shocked that Ronda chose Charlotte. I mean, it makes sense because Fox wants him. Fox wants, Ronda on Friday Night SmackDown.
We're the fans. You should get what we want. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
no,
kidding.
no. They need her on Fox.
I know.
So that leaves Becky wide open, right? Like, really? You know what I was thinking? Because I thought maybe they would lead the Lita Becky match to Mania. Because I was like, oh, it's a big match. But then you think of the Saudi Arabia money, blah, blah, blah. What if you're getting Becky versus Trish and this is your way to get to it?
See, I've heard that Trish is streaming.
She is. I follow her on Instagram.
Okay.
She did a really funny thing where she faked like she was in her luggage going to the airport on Royal Rumble Day.
Oh.
And then when the Royal Rumble was on, she tweeted herself with a glass of wine watching it, and she said, I gotcha.
Nice.
And I'm like, but that even still shows me like it's on her radar. She wants people to know.
If that's what we get, I won't complain.
Awesome.
But I don't know if you watch What Culture.
A little bit.
They're my go-to for wrestling content. Like when I wake, because when they drop, it's around the time when I wake up. So it's what I watch before I go to work and stuff. But they brought a good point. If WWE was smart, they would do this. Keep the matches the way they are, but the night after WrestleMania, you get Ronda saying, "I'll see you next year" to Becky, and then they do the Rock Cena style build for a year.
Right. I'd like it.
That would be great.
I'd be great. Because again, that's what people want, and I get it. I get the whole shtick of why she's where she needs to be.
Yeah, and Charlotte's money. Like, I mean, they're gonna have a great match. Like, they had a great match at Survivor Series when Charlotte had to replace Becky, so they're capable of having good matches.
I will admit, I don't understand. I don't care about the personality thing with Ronda. I have never understood the thoughts of people not liking Ronda for like being bad in the ring. I'm like, she's not though.
Yeah, I could probably pinpoint a lot of other people who are worse, but I don't think it comes from wrestling. I think honestly, it's still blowback from when the Holly Holmes fight. Because there was a guy I used to work with, and he would give Ronda crap for that match. I'm like, dude, she could literally kill you, and he's taller and bigger than me. He's like, so. I think there's a lot of blowback from there because Ronda came off very arrogant.
Oh, she still does.
Very arrogant. Well, if you're cocky, if you can back it up. But yeah, she came off very arrogant back then, and it's kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way to the point where it's kind of there's still a bad aura.
Yeah, I mean, there's
because you're a lot of crossover between the fans.
I think you're right because I mean I have a couple buddies of mine who it's funny, it's a three-way chat. I'm the wrestling guy. I have a buddy who's a boxing guy, and then my other buddy's an MMA guy. So, but we all know like what's going on. I don't actually know boxing at all besides what this guy tells me.
I just know what's in Rocky.
You're right. Exactly. I know Rocky pretty well. And he and when I sent them the Ronda stuff, they both just eviscerated her because they're MMA people.
Well, I was gonna say, was this
they
joined years ago, or
no? This is when at the Rumble. I'm like, oh, she's back, just to see their reaction, and they're both just like, oh God, get her away.
Curious, have they actually seen her wrestle?
I think one of them has seen her a few times, and he's the MMA guy, and he's with you. He was one of them people who, when he was watching her, just like pure disdain.
Oh, I know. I've never. I think you misunderstood me. I've never not.
Oh, not sorry. What? I'm sorry, Matt. Like what you said. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like I respect. I honestly respect Ronda because I know she is a fan of the business. Like there's a reason Roddy Piper gave her his blessing. Okay.
Yeah.
If he gives her a blessing, none of you guys fucking matter.
Right.
But no, I was gonna say if that one guy, a friend of yours, hasn't seen the match, I just noticed today her debut match is on WWE YouTube channel. Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie. So send that to him because for a first match, come on.
I still say in the last like 10 years, that is one of the best when you take wrestling as a whole, entertainment, a good match, big spectacle, that tag team match is like perfect.
Agreed.
It's so good. I've watched it multiple times because I'm like, this is just so entertaining.
100%. It was better than it had any right to be.
And all the way around, Stephanie was better. Angle, who is so tough to watch in his later years,
for sure.
He can't even stand up straight, and yet Angle looked good in it. They figured it out, and
because
it's
they worked around his strengths, which he may not be as mobile as he is, but he's still got
right,
strength.
right.
Triple H selling for Ronda, which
the Triple H sell for Ronda is so good.
For sure, because it makes her look like the baddest woman on the planet, which is.
It's so good. It's like the part that sticks out of me is when she just starts going to town on him, and the way Triple H holds up is so good.
And then she hit him with her spinning Samoan drop, or am I thinking Stephanie? I think
she hit him with. I think she hit him with it. She did like 3-4 big moves on him.
Yeah, no, I mean, Ronda, after that, her first couple matches were, but she definitely got better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then I think you got one more match.
Yeah, and there is one more, and this is going to be fun.
I'm pumped.
Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins, and yes, his name is officially now Seth freaking Rollins,
which I also think is awesome. You don't like it?
I don't know.
I'm shockingly
into it. When it was just like it was like it's Seth freaking Rollins, but when they make it his name, it's like, kind of takes it a little the luster off for me. Anyways, versus Austin Theory, who is the guy that hopefully they continue his push. Versus Riddle, who is supposed to be the original winner of the Royal Rumble.
Also love.
Who Randy Orton gave his blessing to.
Yeah, I saw
that. Versus AJ Styles in an Elimination Chamber match. So I'm expecting Austin Theory, Riddle, or AJ Styles to hit a crazy move out of somewhere.
Oh, man. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So do you expect it to be Brock? What's your gut, Soda?
My gut says no because of the Royal Rumble.
Right.
I think, as much as I would love to see title versus title, I would love that.
But you don't actually see him unifying them, though. I don't see it.
But you know what? Now that I think about it, even if he wins the title, he would still need his Rumble match to get the match with Roman. So, I mean, I could see Brock winning.
Okay.
I can.
I don't yet. I don't know who wins. That's the thing is if it's not Brock, if we go by what
Brock's either Lashley or Rollins.
Right. Yeah. The other three don't have a shot. Yeah. I'm pretty sure
we give AJ one final run with the title. But
AJ just signed another 3-year deal. So
I was shocked because he said the last one was his last.
Yeah, right. So he's got time. Yeah. But I could see him going with Seth.
Yeah.
Into something because I do think Big E might get back into the title picture going into Mania.
Yeah,
I think it's possible.
I hope they leave him on SmackDown and put him in the title picture there, and he finally is the one to dethrone Roman.
See, that's the thing. So here's the issue that I have with kind of the whole thing is, can Brock go into Mania and lose to Roman?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yes, I can, because Brock will do business.
I'm not saying he won't, because of course he does business, but I just don't know if they're going to book it.
If they're smart, they will, because we're coming on 2 years of a Roman reign.
I know.
If you're going to have someone end it, you should have someone end it who is the next guy, like it should have been originally with Taker's streak.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is WWE, so
this is how I look at it. It's whether people like it or not. The only person bigger in WWE than Roman is Brock, and I don't know. I don't know who can. And in the next, let's say, unless they literally look that they're going to keep the belt on Roman for possibly a whole entire another year.
Yeah, or at least in the summer.
Because it's gonna take a while to build someone.
Well, Big E is the one right now who is probably best suited to do it.
I don't know, man. I think that shit might have passed.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Wishful thinking.
I think it might have.
Big E, dude was great. He was a great champ. I'm not talking his in-ring stuff. I mean, as a champ, as a representative of the company, he was great.
Yeah, I think he might just be one of them guys that,
which sucks.
And again, I've said this to you. It's just like Roman getting COVID changed so much.
I know, right?
It changed Big E's title run.
Yeah.
It changed probably the finish to the Royal Rumble.
It changed so much.
It probably changed the Elimination Chamber. Like,
Probably.
that's how crazy that was.
Mm-hmm.
Because on day one, they couldn't do anything else with Brock. You can't just pull Brock off the pay-per-view.
No.
And he can't go and lose. So it's crazy. I always think that. I'm like, this will be the thing that like we talk about in years to come. Like,
yeah,
isn't it crazy? Like, what if Roman just doesn't get COVID?
One positive test. That's all it was. One positive test.
And it changed probably the entire road to WrestleMania.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know.
Banger.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is we never will know either how that match was going to end.
Yeah, unless they book it similar. I'm talking the Mania match.
Right, but the Roman was yeah. I don't know, man. It's awesome. Again, at least it keeps a little bit there.
Yeah. And that is in 10 days, folks. So definitely check that out. If you watch pay-per-views, though, it is probably going to be airing during the day because it's in Saudi Arabia.
It's a Saudi show. Is it on Saturday?
The 19th. So that is, yes, it's a Saturday. Perfect.
Oh, my gosh. Saturday at like 1 o'clock. Yeah, because nobody's busy then.
Yeah, because the last one was during the work week because I remember it was at work and following along on my phone.
Yeah, I was going to say I actually love it when it's during the work week because then I can actually watch it easier if I have it that way.
yeah, this round my own boss.
That's positive.
So we had a really big show to happen tonight, and that was AEW Dynamite from New Jersey, from Atlantic City, New Jersey, no doubt. You didn't watch, if I'm correctly, you didn't.
I couldn't. Yeah, no, I only had to follow on Twitter tonight. Didn't get around this week.
Okay, well, yeah, I watched it, and it was a great show. And so it started off with MJF in the ring to do the whole celebration. But here's how it really started off. Wardlow came out with cardboard cutouts of MJF from that match and placed him in the ring like he was an intern. And then MJF came out after you got the FTR and all them come out. MJF came out in a freaking sedan with two valets there. He, got the hug and the kiss from the one, and then he turned around and just started making out with the other one. I'm like, please be his girlfriend. Please be his girlfriend. And I'm pretty sure this is where the blotch of makeup or spray tan that was on his forehead the whole promo came from.
No way. That's awesome.
Look, he's like mostly white, but then there's like this. It's like a darker color, like right here.
That is awesome.
Anyways, they came out. They continued more of the Wardlow storyline where it's like MJF's like, I want to thank the guy who helped me beat Punk last week. He was there, blah blah blah. Shawn Spears, and then the crowd just went Wardlow, Wardlow, Wardlow. Punk comes out and he says, "Man, I'm about ready to kick your ass, but I know you guys like to have the numbers game, so I'm bringing some friends of my own." Out comes Darby Allin with Sting. They all have baseball bats. Punk says, "Hey, Wardlow." No, he says, "I want to fight the guy that beat me in Chicago last week. I want to fight Wardlow." And I'm just like, And so they end up booking a match for later in the night. The stipulation going into it was if Punk and a partner of his choosing that wasn't Darby Allin or Sting could beat FTR, MJF would grant him a rematch. So we're going to jump to that. Who did CM Punk have for his partner?
Yeah, I saw that. It was Moxley, huh?
John Moxley.
That interested me. That's why I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah, because and then you're watching the match, and this is, you know what it reminded me of? A modern day version of in the 80s when you would get Tully and Arn versus, say, Dusty and Magnum, where you got two big stars coming together to fight one of the best tag teams. That's what reminded me of. And even then, it was a new school version of an old school match. It was so good. We saw multiple tag team finishers. Mox and Punk hit the most beautiful Doomsday device I've ever seen. Like, no, seriously. Like, even with the animal like toss up of the guy, like, it was great match. Probably the best.
But did they completely take the guy's head off like Animal Hawk did, where they didn't give a shit?
Well, no, they actually
they just didn't give a fuck.
Right, and that's how, was it Phineas or was it?
Henry? It was.
Yeah,
that one's brutal.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories I've ever heard about the Road Warriors is on the old Road Warriors DVD that came out like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch it?
I did. I couldn't remember anything about it, but I definitely watched it.
Jim Cornette saying like these guys, people were so scared of the Road Warriors. People get to TV and they look at the call sheet and they would just see their name against the Road Warrior, and you would just see their faces sink.
It's true.
Yeah,
I have no doubt.
I kind of want to go back and watch that DVD.
That's funny.
It's a great documentary and with great matches and stuff. Right? I would recommend going and watching the Road Warriors.
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to. That's a good one.
I have it here somewhere.
Well, I just assume you have it somewhere back there, so I've learned that at some point it's back there.
Oh, of course. You'd be surprised at how much I don't own.
But yeah, I'm not surprised at how much you don't own. I don't think. I think this is it.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's one of the first DVDs I bought.
That was a good. You know what? I will admit, not to sidetrack too much, but that time period in there when DVDs were the hit.
Oh fuck yeah!
That 2003 to 2009.
Yeah.
That stuff. I know you and I have referenced them plenty on the show, but God, some of them, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They were so good.
The Road Warrior one's great. Probably my three favorites were Triple H's Thy Kingdom Come. Actually, 4. Triple H's, CM Punk's, Paul Heyman, and Edge's. Those are my 4 favorites.
You know the other one I like is Rob Van Dam's.
I do not. That's actually one of the few I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was a really good one too. And I like I love the territory ones. The AW.
I have those. I got the Rise and Fall of WCW. I've got the Mid South, of course, ECW, AWA. My favorite one to watch for documentary wise is the World Class Championship one.
That World Class one is so good. World Class. We'll have a whole show. When it comes to the territories, World Class is so interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good.
Actually, these DVDs were an education for me because I'm up in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, pretty much in BC. So I didn't really pre-internet. I didn't have access to a lot of this stuff. So it was just hearsay from hearing people like Jim Cornette stuff talk about it. So those DVDs were my wrestling education.
Yeah, and they were great. That's why I love when the network or Peacock, whatever, those. Did you watch any of the ones that came out when they did do the Legends ones, like the Yokozuna one?
Yeah, which they never released the other ones.
They released half of them.
Yeah, they released 3.
They did.
Bulldogs.
Did you watch the Yokozuna one?
I watched the ones that came out. Yeah,
that one is so good.
Yeah, they were all good.
Yeah, well, they finally released Van Dam's.
Yeah, they released that one. They released Van Dam's, and they released
Beth Phoenix. But they didn't ever release that Luger one.
Nope. They're supposed to come out last summer.
I don't even like Luger, and I was so interested in that.
Go back and listen to his episode on Stories with Bradshaw and Briscoe.
I should. I've just started to finally catch up on the catalog of that show.
Yeah, that I actually I tweeted at them and I actually got a reply from Briscoe from it. But basically, I said this is the modern day equivalent of sitting in the car between towns.
It is, and the reason why I can, and I've mentioned the show, but I have a buddy of mine who's a wrestler for 25 years, and he tells me the 2 shows to listen to if you want to get an actual education of the territories and stuff is Bradshaw Briscoe and Don Morocco's.
Don Morocco, it's a podcast.
He does. He's only 20 episodes in. I listened to his in 1983 episode the other day. It's good because Morocco's an interesting guy. And one of them dudes you don't know a lot about, right?
Because he was gone from the WWE, but I think I was 1 year old, so it was 1988.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 88 was probably.
He did a WrestleMania 4 tournament, and I don't remember what else he did after that.
That was probably it.
Yeah,
because he was one of them early territory guys that by the time WWE hit, he was already phasing.
Well, yeah, because when he was a star for WWE pre-Rock and Wrestling Connection, pre-WrestleMania 1, basically, because of course everybody knows the legendary Superfly Don Morocco match.
Right. Yeah, so that's a good one, Soda. You should give it a listen.
Yeah, okay, definitely will. But yeah, let's transition back to Dynamite. We had the first debut. It was a Forbidden Door from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Switchblade Jay White.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to rain anybody's parade. I've never been a big Jay White guy.
I've never seen a Jay White match, so it's just gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's not a guy to me.
I've tried, but I guess it's because I don't know. I like the crowd reactions and stuff. It's hard for me to get into.
It is. I always associate wrestling. It's just like film. Like, you know how many people? Oh, I don't want to watch. this movie in Japan because I have to read subtitles, and everything about it's different. It's just not what you're used to
Exactly.
in North America.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Agreed. And I have seen some matches. I've enjoyed them, but it's just hard for me to watch it on a regular basis because I like the crowd. That's why I love about AEW because the crowd is part of the show.
Right. I agree. And the other part that really kills me is the announcers. Like, I'm so used to, like, hearing what's going on and hearing the calls, and when you can't understand, and there's no obviously like subtitles on the live shows.
No.
It's
hard.
It's tough. But I do like it. But yeah, but even the little bit of Jay White I have seen, I remember when they were teasing Jay White. I don't know if it was AEW early on, or was it Impact? Yeah,
I think it's Impact because he's actually wrestling in the next Impact review.
Okay. Even at the time, I was like, I've seen Jay White a few times. I don't. He's not a guy who catches me very much, but.
I'm familiar with the name because obviously people talk about it a lot. So I'm gonna have to reserve my judgment on him until I actually see him wrestle.
Yeah.
There's that. And then we had the Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier. Isiah Kassidy, who was the perfect opponent for the debuting Limitless Keith Lee. The arena erupted, and you could see the look on Keith Lee's face saying, "This is where I belong."
Yeah. He's an interesting guy. I'm really not surprised. Again, we talk a lot about WWE on here. We've watched WWE for our whole lives, and we follow it like crazy.
I mean, hell, come on.
Yeah. There's certain guys that the WWE just, I don't even know a better term, that just doesn't get.
Exactly, and he's epitome of modern epitome.
Truly, when he got to the main roster, I was in no way surprised that I went. Sometimes people like blame WWE for all of it, and then sometimes people blame the wrestler for all of it, and then I always think that there's this chunk in the middle that, like, literally they get there, and the writers, Vince, Bruce, and Johnny Ace go, we don't really know. Like, we know they're good, but we just don't know what the hell to do with them.
Which is funny because all they had to do was follow the example of NXT.
I know, just big dude.
My favorite gift to use is when he pounced Adam Cole in the audience.
I know, but I'm not surprised. Like, and the one thing I'm very excited about, AEW needs size.
Oh, for sure.
They need big people,
and this is a big guy that can move like a little guy.
Right. I am very excited to see Keith, his body type in AEW.
And he was doing some of those moves, like he did a springboard crossbody onto Isiah Kassidy, which looked like
he has a great springboard.
Yeah.
It is amazing how agile he is.
The first move of the match, he bealed Isiah Kassidy from one corner to the other and almost turnbuckles.
I did see that. Isiah sold that like crazy.
That's why I said Isiah Kassidy was the best opponent for him, because he made Keith Lee look like a star. But my favorite, and it's like everything was just bouncing off Keith Lee, and he was just being Keith Lee, and it was great. Yeah. And my favorite part of the match was afterwards, Isiah Kassidy, and forgive me, I can never remember the other guy's name. Do you know?
I can't either, honestly. I also have that same issue.
So they try to do their stuff on Keith Lee. The other guy jumps over the ropes. Keith Lee catches him, drops him on the ground. Isiah Kassidy runs, tries to do the somersault senton while he's upside down. Keith Lee catches him as if he was giving him a style splash. Just catches him.
Yeah.
Lifts him up, and the way the other guy was placed, I thought he was going to powerbomb him onto his partner. No, he just powerbombed right on the freaking apron.
Yeah, it is. Just because, again, we've been off for 2 months, so I don't know if you have more to say on the show tonight, but like,
not really.
We were you can hit the hard part, the big main parts probably besides.
Yeah, well, we do have one more match that we should talk about, and that's about that.
Yeah. And we could segue into that, but like it came out today because, again, if there's one thing I harp on AEW about, which so hears me say all the time, is that they sign people all the time. And I'm always lost in how all these people are constantly getting signed. And then some are going to dark and some don't wrestle. And it's kind of a little bit of a shtick with AEW that people are starting to get on a little bit. Like, yeah, I'm sure you saw that one post that Andrade's had like 4 TV matches since he got signed or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's the stats are kind of Sonny Kiss hasn't wrestled on TV in 400 some days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, these are things. So, but I'm excited to hear that because all these contracts from the first 3 years are coming up. The reason why AEW is doing better, their talent is it's better now.
But not just that, it's their storytelling is more cohesive than it was.
Their storytelling, right? They're finally starting to catch some of the footing. Because actually, I thought before Punk and the Bryan wave came, I actually thought that was them couple months were almost like was probably some of the roughest AEW I was watching.
I was enjoying it myself. That's because that's when I started watching AEW.
Right. And I'm not saying that it wasn't bad. And there was good matches and stuff, but it felt like what you said. The cohesion was very all over the place at points. But it does feel like they're starting to catch footing. And I think this year, now that some of these guys are just not going to get contracts renewed. And
right.
At some point, Tony is also right. And there's last point, and then I'll let you say that. But the other thing is Tony and the team can finally mold what's there. Because beyond Keith, I don't know. I look at all the rest of the cuts that have happened the last few months.
There's a couple that I wouldn't mind seeing.
There's a couple, but let's keep this to a
right. They can't stand everybody, but there's one I want to advocate for that I really want to see in AEW, and that's Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you for at least picking not a huge name.
Right.
That's so much better. I'm okay with that. We just don't need them to sign Cross.
Yeah.
And
I can see him going to Impact, actually. Back to Impact.
You would think so. Yeah. It's the natural landing spot. And really, does Cross even fit AEW's shtick? I mean,
maybe. I don't know. See, here's the thing. I'm not overly familiar with Karrion Kross pre-WWE. So, I mean, I knew who he was because I knew he was getting that traction and Impact prior to that. That's about all I knew. So, I couldn't say. But back to the whole contracts thing expiring, that could be a blessing for some of these guys because now they can go on the indie and they have that name cachet. They were part of AEW. Maybe they weren't on TV that much, but you know what? Everybody except for the champions wrestles on Dark or Elevation. Like I don't know how many times I've seen in the ticker FTR on Dark or on Elevation, or Darby Allin beat so and so, or you know what I mean. So I'm not overly worried about some people having lack of TV time because at least they're wrestling. It's not like WWE. It's not like WWE where it's just like you're in catering. It's like, no, at least you have opportunities to wrestle, at least on these other shows.
But have you watched some of Dark and stuff? They throw like 15. They put like 15 matches on in an hour and a half. Some of them are
edited,
so short. And yeah, but I get it though. But again, that's what I always say about when WWE fires or releases people. Them people were just on national television for a year, 2 years, 3 years. They're made forever.
Right, but on the flip side of that is WWE is a company that is struggling for stars right now, and they're releasing some that could have been big stars. That's the thing. Think they're relying on for buy rates right now.
I think wrestling's in general doesn't have the big stars as they used to. I don't know if that's just an E problem.
It's an E problem because wrestling is WWE.
WWE. Okay, if that's the definition, then I agree.
Wrestling is, as much as they hate to say they're not wrestling, wrestling is WWE.
Okay, that if that's your definition of that, I will agree.
Yeah, because I was doing their own stars, but I don't think they'll ever get to that.
Okay, so
Roman Reigns level.
Thank you, Soda. If that is how you're proposing it, I am totally okay with that. It's just the opposite when people go, well, but Darby Allin's a star. I'm like, he's not really. He's just not.
Because when I was watching tonight, Dynamite, I've realized it's like all the indie shows you see, but just on national TV. That's what it is.
Right.
So they were definitely stars. They're
stars in their bubble.
Exactly.
Sure.
You got WWE and you have everything else. Those guys are stars in everything else.
In that bubble. Absolutely. But my two buddies that I text that are MMA and very, very light wrestling fans, do not know who Darby Allin is.
Right.
But they know who Roman Reigns is because he's a huge star. But agreed. I agree with you. That's WWE is, I mean, it's proof WWE's lacking stars.
100%.
I mean, there's a reason why. I don't know what contract that nobody's reported on that they gave Brock, but the dude's on TV almost every week now.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't the contract that was quote unquote reported prior.
God, no. That was
So
Brock's
they must have
contract.
been like, throw some money at this guy, keep him on TV because everything's better when Brock's on TV because he's.
And I've been loving Brock since he's come back. This is the Brock I love because this reminds me of the Brock from 2003.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Remember that?
It's so fun.
It's centered. Yeah. Oh, you could tell he's into it.
He's having a great time.
Yeah, especially when he told what was it, Corey Graves a couple weeks ago during the weigh-in, do you want me to take my clothes off?
Oh yeah, that was good. And I love the fact. But didn't he just take his hat off?
Yep.
And he weighed in with like cowboy boots.
Oh, think about it. The dude's done real weigh-ins.
I know.
Come on. This is
so funny.
But back to AEW, there was one more match, and that was the main event for the AEW World Championship. It was Hangman Adam Page versus Lance Archer in a Texas Death Match. This was how you have a title match with Lance Archer, because I don't think you could put him into a regular match and it being good. This was a great Texas Death Match.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I really want to watch it tomorrow. I am thoroughly not a Lance Archer guy.
Me neither. But he was used correctly here, so it worked.
Right.
There were some
matches hide stuff. It's easier that way.
Of course, and there were some really great spots in here. At the very beginning of the match, Hangman hit Archer with the buckshot, so Dan Lambert and Jake Roberts unscrewed the top rope. There was no top rope the rest of the match.
That's
to take that away from him. There was a spot where Archer gave his finisher the blackout, I think it's called, but he did it from in the ring onto a turn sideways steel steps outside.
I saw that. That was brutal.
Yeah, that
was I don't know if I'm getting old. So did you ever find yourself like when you're watching like the quote unquote super hardcore, which in modern wrestling I would consider the couple clips I saw pretty hardcore on AEW. When I saw that bump, I went, ouch. Yikes.
Yeah.
Like that just looked terrible.
Yeah, exactly. I would have been in traction. Like it wow.
Yeah. It looked, Hangman just didn't give a shit and just threw his body on it. I'm like, oh my God, that looked like it hurt so bad.
Bounced right off of it. Jake Roberts got in his little moment, which is pretty nice to see. Hits the short arm clothesline, went to go for the DDT, did the signal. Lance Archer said, no, don't fucking do that. So then Page hits Archer with the DDT, and then he looks up at Jake and he mocks him, and Jake on national TV just flips him off. This is like perfect. But the spot of the match was the finish. So because he couldn't do the buckshot, Page grabbed a piece of barbed wire that was stapled to a steel chair that Lance Archer was using. He wrapped it on his arm, gave him the forearm, and then Archer falls off the ropes, and he's standing there. Page takes, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he took the barbed wire off or fell off. Either way, the referee bent over to pick it up, and while he was bent over, Page ran, flipped over him, hit the buckshot, and put them both through the two tables.
Yeah, it was cool.
Spot.
That was a cool spot. That was the one that was making its way on Twitter right before we got on. That was pretty cool.
That was a great way to end the match.
It was.
And then, ding, 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 Page wins. And while he's, recuperating, who comes out? Adam Cole, baby.
Oh, good.
He's planted the seeds for the title match because now Adam Cole is the number one contender. All he did was he got in, grabbed the belt, looked at it, put it on Page, and walked away.
Yeah.
And that's going to be your main event for Revolution, folks.
You're going to hate me, but I am done with Adam Cole.
Really? Why is that?
I don't like anything that's been going on with his AEW stuff. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. You know what? Because again, I can't like everything, and I'm one of them guys that just don't. And when it's really tough when Punk, Cole, Bryan, and Ruby show up the same day. So in my brain, I have to judge them all in this
that's fair.
Vacuum. And when I look at the four, I'm crazy into Bryan right now. I think he's almost the thing I like the most in AEW. I just with MJF. And Punk's always interesting.
Oh yeah.
And I am not a Young Bucks guy. I never have been. So Cole being back with them, doing the thing, I think I'm done with it. I think I got it.
Because I can see where it's going, I'm all aboard. Because you have to know it's going to be Undisputed Era versus the Elite when Kenny comes back.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm excited to see that personally.
And I agree. If you are, and you're a bigger AEW guy than I am, but if you're an AEW fan,
of course, it's free.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that away from anybody. That is that is what these fans, the AEW, really hardcore AEW people, that's what they want. But granted, I defend WWE for things that I probably shouldn't defend them for.
And because I'm enjoying AEW right now because it reminds me of what WWE used to be. Doesn't mean I dislike WWE. I just don't watch their television programming because it's shit.
Oh,
and I can say it's shit because I know they can do better. I've seen them do better. They have this bar that they set so high. And then once WCW closed, after you got over the original brand split and some of that, now granted, we did have some good stuff in there, but for the most part, they became too complacent. I'm worried, and we're starting to see it with some attendance, that all the good stuff that WWE done eventually, all the goodwill that they had will start to go.
This is the thing I've had too, to go with the WWE problems, is they dominate the pay-per-view. I still think
premium live event,
which is horrible. I do got to get it on it though. I do got to switch premium live event because I am one of the people that when we're supposed to switch the verbiage, I try to. So on the premium live events, they always feel big and important.
Right.
That's good. But the rest of their TV,
agreed,
is so bad.
I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a full episode of NXT 2.0.
Okay, I'm sorry. And this is gonna be where I'm gonna get killed. I am having a great fucking time watching 2.0.
I'm enjoying the Braun Breaker stuff because I follow it on Twitter. But honestly, if I'm gonna choose, I got better things to watch on a Tuesday night. Personally,
I am. I think if you give it a chance, there's some bad in there. Trust me.
I did. I watched it probably for the first month or two. But then after a while, it's just I forgot about it.
I will admit that first month or two was getting there, but I've watched it the last few weeks. There is probably I would say 6 or 8 guys that I am thoroughly interested in. From Grayson Waller to Braun, I really like Breaker, to Gunther and Imperium. I know the name change is horrendous, but I get it. Granted,
It's one thing if he wasn't all over their products as Walter for years.
I know, it's so weird.
Anyways.
Granted, did you see his little 1-minute Instagram video about it?
No.
You should. I wish they would have. I don't know if they showed it on TV. Maybe I missed it. But he did. I'll send it to you and try to find it. He literally explains, in a promo, why he's Gunther. And I will admit, if you watch that, it works.
Okay.
But if you don't watch that video, you will feel like how you feel, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's confusing. It's stupid.
Especially when they named him after a Nazi U-boat captain. Come on.
Who doesn't Google it?
WWE.
I know. Only WWE would not Google a name.
It's because sometimes they still think the foreign heel is a thing.
Yeah. I know that's a WWE fucking issue.
But
no, I agree.
Maybe I'm being too hard. Well, not too hard. Maybe
you don't have to be. Again, it also gets to this too.
Yeah.
The issue is there is too much wrestling.
Right. So if I'm going to choose the stuff that actually lifts me off my seat, which is 3 hours of AEW, as opposed to 7 hours of WWE. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, I don't watch. I honestly, and I'm like, I don't watch Rampage. I don't. The couple times I've watched it, I think it's kind of a worthless show.
I can watch it on demand.
Now.
Last week,
I watch. No offense, I have no cable, so I watch everything on demand. So
last week was great, but I will admit the 2 shows prior to that were not the best. They were good, but if you compare it to stuff that they put out in the past, it's not the best.
Yeah, it's just the little bit I've watched. I'm like, an hour is too short.
Oh no, for me it's great. It's like a palate cleanser, especially after SmackDown or something like that.
See, and again, if I'm watching anything, I'm watching SmackDown. I think it's the best thing that's going. Granted,
I
again,
agree.
there's
And
a
you know
little
what's
bit of
great? You can watch
junk in there.
SmackDown and immediately turn the channel to Rampage.
Right, right. And I
Which is
just
my
don't. But
primary.
I also watch NXT probably instead of Rampage. Granted,
Okay.
again, I also definitely do not watch Raw because
Either.
Raw is so hard to watch.
Yeah, it is.
And again, even I don't watch the 3-hour version because I only watch it on Hulu, which is an hour and a half version. And even then, I won't watch it.
I watch on Twitter.
Yeah, I watch. So do I. Even though actually a buddy of mine has told me the last 2 weeks of Raw, he said has been shockingly good.
Really?
Yeah, because he says they're actually. He told me last what was it on Monday night, which is why I actually have to watch it. Austin Theory wrestles KO.
Yes,
And,
I heard that was a great
and
match.
he's like, dude, you gotta watch it. He's like, this is good stuff. And then Theory wrestled AJ the week before, in which I only watched that match. And I'm like, well, at least they're throwing at least one 20-minute match on the show in 3 hours.
And that's another thing. Like, it was about a month ago, somebody compared the amount of time wrestling, like actual wrestling match time, between AEW and WWE. Yeah. And AEW had almost twice as much wrestling time than WWE. If I'm not mistaken, like the Raw was maybe out of 3 hours, 15 minutes.
It was great. Like the number was actually astounding. It was astounding how low it was. Right. But again, but apparently the last few weeks it's been a lot higher.
Good on them. They got a long way to go before they get me back to watching Raw, especially at 3 hours.
And no offense, Soda, I kind of was saying this to a friend of mine the other day, but like as we lead our way out, but I don't know if they care about you anymore.
No, they don't.
Because you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
You will follow WWE most likely forever.
Exactly.
You'll follow AEW and Impact. You're not their audience anymore.
I know.
And no offense, I shouldn't say you. I'm really not.
I know you mean me like in the blanket term, but it's just like what they should realize is that we're the ones that want them to make sense.
They don't care.
Like I'm pretty sure you know where Veer's heading? You know how they keep saying Veer's coming to Raw? Veer's coming to Raw and going straight to catering.
I absolutely love the fact that Veer's trolling Twitter. They're trolling everybody with that all the time because it gets people so riled up.
Last week is the only time I've ever commented on this on WWE Twitter, but I posted a GIF of the moment from Austin Powers with the steamroller because that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
But I will admit, I was thinking of Veer today, actually.
Oh, really?
WWE is putting so much publicity into him.
Yeah.
They have to have something in mind.
I would hope so.
Or else this is a complete waste of time and money, which, I mean, they've done before. But they have to see something in him if they're literally doing this.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hilarious still that they're still doing it. I mean, that's taking a joke and really going for it.
Pretty much.
I mean, the fact that they're still posting, it's like 2 months. And they are still posting, and people are still flipping out on Twitter. I'm like, I just keep doing it. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting thing. But again, to go to the thing, there's a reason why Saudi Arabia paid them what they paid them because those are the people that WWE they want to expand into Saudi Arabia.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they're so. This is gonna be my last thought on this, but WWE is so focused on being accepted that they're forgetting who they are. It's not the apps. It's not the apps. It's not tout. It's not all that crap that sells the product. It's what happens in that 20 by 20 ring. That's what sells your product. Not social media crap.
I don't even actually care that you said anything other than the fact that you made a tout reference.
Well, I was about to say like toys and stuff. I'm like, no, toys are good as I have them around my rooms. The tout was the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah, I get it.
They're so focused on here that they're forgetting what actually is important to their product, and that's the stuff they put on TV every week.
Yeah, and I agree. And again, I've said this. I said this too, and I also think that their American audience, a North American audience, I should say, really, they've got it to the point that they're going to get it,
which is
To me, I don't think they care about it anymore.
I don't think
They are
so.
looking at their India. They're looking at, I'm sure you saw that they're pretty much their whole goal is to get Peacock subscriptions and buy rates for the WWE thing in all the different countries around the world.
Or if not Peacock, because here
or they have their own network. Yeah, they're going to do the network.
We have here, but there are talks about them latching on to other cables. So I'm personally hoping they do it with Crave, because that's the one thing that pisses me off up here. Is yes, I have the network, but if I want to watch it on my 58-inch TV, I have to hook up my laptop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Weird. There is no mobile WWE app. Like on here, I had to make an icon that links me directly to the website.
Weird. Yeah. I guess I didn't know that. But yeah. I think over the next year or two, that's all they care about.
Of course.
They want to get that app up in Canada and everywhere across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get those viewers, who cares? Who cares about their 1.8 million in Raw viewers in America when they have, all these folks in India watching?
That's all I want is good content. That's all I want. There's a lot of good content that WWE has done that's not in like the Attitude Era vein and stuff like that. They can do it. That's just all I want. It's just, something.
And again, and we'll just end it with this, just like we said in the beginning. When WWE is good, it's the best.
Exactly.
Like Roman. I mean, there's a reason why we talk about it all the time. Yeah. You cannot tell me there's anything more interesting on television than Roman, Brock, Paul Heyman in wrestling.
Agreed. Yeah.
When there's nothing.
Summer was great.
Yeah. There's nothing. There's nobody that could say, if you had to pick one thing on wrestling to watch tomorrow, what would it be? I would say something involving Roman, Brock, and Heyman.
Yeah.
Nothing beats it.
No one too, because he can be entertaining as hell.
Sure. But then it's the drop.
Exactly. After that, you got like your Kevin Owens, your Seth Rollins.
That's all fun.
And then then it's like.
But what happened there?
Where's the mid card?
That's the mid cards. There you go. That's a good line. Where's the mid card?
Yeah, I should make that as the subtitle for this episode.
There you go.
All right, my man. It's been an hour. It's
been
gone too much. We still can talk forever.
Always. Oh my gosh. Soda and I finally told ourselves we have to have an hour hard out, or else we'll be here all night.
Yeah, because you're what, Eastern time?
Yeah, I'm Central, so it's 10:30. We're good to go.
Okay, I thought it was 11:30. Yeah.
No, this is perfect. Now I'm like, I told my wife it was funny before we get off. I want to tell us the last funny story. Right when we had the baby, and Soda and me and you were kicking around ideas for the show, and I stayed up to watch. I don't know if it was. I was watching something, and I was like, it was like 9:30, and I was like, oh yeah, this is when I'd start the YouTube show, and I was like falling asleep in my chair, and I was like, I don't know if I can do the YouTube show. It might just be too late. So, but I was excited today. I'm excited to talk wrestling.
Oh, and then, always. So where can everybody find you, my man?
You can find me on Twitter, Dustin Dubuque. I think I'm on Instagram at Dustin Dubuque, where I pretty much just complain about pro wrestling and heavy metal music and movies and all those things. Soda's such a more positive.
Stop it.
Yeah. I can't.
Man. Leave him alone.
I can't. I even let you off this episode without bringing up the fact that they buried the title match for the surprise, and I hated it. You have your champion in a death match in the main event, and yet all you could talk about for a week and a half is a surprise.
Which brings your eyes to your title match.
But it doesn't make people care about the title match. But whatever. We're done. We're finishing the show.
Lance Archer, because that dude could literally eat me and crap me out.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, would you care about Lance Archer in the main event?
I don't care about Lance Archer in anything.
There you go.
But what about you, Soda?
So as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at Soda_the_Saxman. You can find me Saturdays with Dagan over on the Let's Get Ready Twitch, and then I believe the next day it drops on Twitter.
When am I coming on that? I want to come.
I've been meaning to talk to Dagan about bringing you on.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah. So you can find me over there on Twitch every Saturday, where we talk about basically what Dustin and I were doing tonight. We do it every week. We talk about this the weekend wrestling. You can also find me on Thursdays on Rewind the Tape. You can find me on Sunday mornings on what used to be Get Sweaty, but it's gonna be debuting this week with a new name. Stay tuned for that.
That's right.
You can also find me producing the Let's Talk About Star Wars most Saturdays. You can also find me producing Northern Unwind on Sundays, which is on a 1-month hiatus, but we will have some content to fill that time. And was there anything else? I do so flipping much. No, I think that is it.
You need to start writing this down.
Well, stoner brain, man. It messes with your memory. That's definitely
that sounds great, Soda. They can like and subscribe and follow us anytime.
Don't forget, exactly. Don't forget, folks, to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the video. Leave your thoughts in the comments. That's what we're here for. So on that note, we will see you next week. And yes, Frenchie, sorry you are late. We are wrapping up. We will see you next week on the Squared Slice, where we will actually be talking. We'll be talking something different. So we'll see you then, folks. Have a good evening, and what should be a tagline for the show?
We do got to come up with a tagline, right?
Yeah.
Where's the mid card?
Where's the mid card? That's our tagline. Where's the mid card? All right, folks. You have a good evening.